I know you mentioned earlier, don't underestimate the power of being at school. And so being in school and being chemical engineers, we have a lot of classmates who have an interest in the fossil fuel industry for different reasons, either the successes they see currently or the monetary benefit or anything like that, especially underclassmen who have that opportunity to change their mindsets over these next few years. And so I was wondering if you guys know maybe what types of things can we say to them, before, I know Trey and I are graduating, so before we leave, that might, not even if not persuade them, at least give them that, the opening to look into renewables and say, okay, maybe this is where I should be thinking and looking beyond the immediate. So maybe a couple phrases or anything that we might be able to say that you think might work.
My personal view is I wouldn't oppose anyone from going into, working for an oil company or a utility at all. I could tell you in the renewable energy sector, some of the most valuable, talented people in the industry have come out of utilities. So people that understand, really how to deliver power, how to regulate power frequencies, how to sell power. I mean, it's a very, very complicated industry, and some of the most talented people coming into the renewable energy space come from the utility sector. So that's as far as the job opportunities, I would highly recommend, especially for an internship or an independent study, go talk to your utility. Most people wouldn't want to do that. So you can get tremendous traction there and really understand at the ground level how utilities work. And I think the same goes, probably by and large for oil and gas companies as well. When you really can speak the energy language, that's very, very valuable down the road. And so when they eventually see the light and come to renewables, they're going to be very talented and very qualified.
And I think it's also, again, not discouraging them from going to those jobs, but to say, okay, well, you're gonna go to this, but you should also think on the renewable side and how can you bring that to that company and make them start to think about these issues and where their future is and how they can change. So again, there's always going to be something, again, and it's also a healthy competition to have that, but they need to be bringing those ideas to those companies to say that the world is changing and we need to diversify within this company as well. So.
Yeah, I'm with Kevin and Nikki about not necessarily dissuading them from taking an oil and gas job. But yeah, if they're not aware that fossil fuels won't be around forever, it might be helpful to kind of know about that. Although I imagine if they're chemical engineering or any type of engineering, they might be aware. I don't know if I have any phrases or anything like that that would help, but I don't know, taking them to maybe if you guys have engineers for a sustainable world or any organization like that, or if you want to share something that you might have learned in one of your classes that you thought was really eye-opening, that might be helpful, at least letting them know that there is more to the energy industry, and that one day this might be all that there is.
Makamba, one thing I would throw at you as well is, and I guess the point here is I don't think you really need to or should do anything to try to encourage a big fossil fuel company to get into renewables, because they're already into them. If you look at the investments that Exxon, that Shell, that BP, all the bigs, I mean, these guys have it's got to be hundreds of millions. I mean, yes, hundreds of millions of dollars invested in bioenergy startups, invested in renewable, electricity coming from wind or solar. They're already there. They're already there. And so maybe a different point of view is to really pick up on what Kevin was saying, which is, man, if that's the best job out there, take it, make the money, learn about the industry, learn about the energy industry, because all of these companies, there's so many smart people there. They know They're not an oil company and gas company. They're an energy company. And they see what's possible in the future for reasons I mentioned earlier. I don't think most of them are in any rush to accelerate it, to embrace it. But, you know, again, their motivations are different, but they're hedging their bets. They've got huge investments in renewables already. So go to those companies if that's an option, learn about energy, and then keep your eye on renewables. And a year or two down the line, after you've built valuable basic skills as a ChemE or as an ME, and you've acquired industry knowledge, then, you know, chase these guys down and say, hey, guess what? You know, now I got a couple of years under my belt. And I say this to people, you know, same deal goes to, you know, I could tell you a bunch of names of people going to Dow and Monsanto, going to Exxon, Shell. You know, they're absolutely going to get into renewables 2 years, 3 years out. But right now, you know, you take what the market gives you. And if that's what it gives you, not a bad job. You can make a lot of money. It's good credentialing, build great skills. Well, here's the deal, folks. We're at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Oh, wait, 8 o'clock for you too, isn't it, Kevin? Yeah. Kevin's going to be doing that.
No, I crossed over the time.
So in any event.
Yeah, actually, I'm in Chicago to DC and stopped off of Interstate 80 here in Newton, Ohio, en route to do this webinar. But, again, it's even when you're in your career, there's always work to be done, and always important to reach back as well. So as you all graduate, you know, be involved in your alumni organization, reach out to folks, answer, you know, when someone else reaches out to you. And for me, I've been very fortunate that I've had my calls answered a lot, and my emails answered a lot. So I'm always happy to do something like this, even if it's during a 10-hour drive to DC.